Damn, I just broke my fucking bomb, bro. You gotta be kidding me.
Just letting it all hang out.
You what for?
You broke your bomb?
I just broke my bomb.
No, come on, Court. I ain't no way to start the podcast.
Man, I'm not even about to do this podcast.
I knew that was coming.
Nigga, we'll buy you a new
What is it, the Grav Core?
Let me get some, Lord have mercy. Okay.
Corey, what was it?
Okay.
Bomb.
I thought you were using a Grav, no more.
Bong out.
Nah, I don't use the grab. I don't smoke in the house no more, but I don't know. Oh, that was just the wackest shit ever.
Yeah, I mean, you throw it off because you don't smoke in the house no more. Where you be smoking?
In the garage. At least I got a garage, nigga. What you talking about?
I know. I'm saying it's warm out there. Yeah, out here I couldn't smoke in no garage.
It ain't warm. It's actually the coldest time of the year. It gets down in the 40s at night.
Every night?
Last few nights. That shit only lasts for like a couple weeks though.
Basement Foundation was the name that we came with. Drop call 9/11, nigga. Nowadays we was famous. Haters lined around the corner, they was patient. I ain't never paid them no attention, nigga. Amen. Satan slither through the yard, keep the grass low. Rob a nigga every time I seen us on my cash flow. In the cell, out of cell, in the cell again. Started popping pills, OT. Damn, I'm losing friends.
Welcome everybody to Phoenixville, the Phoenix. I'm your host Ricky Fitz, here with all of my co-hosts. We're going to start with Monnie Love. Say what's up, Monnie.
Yo.
We got below her Kelly Cal, a.k.a. Bombshell Cal, a.k.a. Queen of Selfies, a.k.a. Might Smack Your Sister if she talks shit. Cal, say what's up, Cal.
What's up?
The bottom of the screen, we got Joe Crizzles. Joe, what up, man?
What up, what up?
And last but not least, we got my little brother, a.k.a. my big brother, Ike. Uncle Ike.
Good.
Uncle Ike Murder.
What's up?
Ike Turner might slap a bitch.
Just getting off of watching our president get impeached for the second time.
Is that why what do you got back there? What's your background? Black Lives Matter?
Nah, I'm not for. I'm for all lives matter.
I think it says BLM. That's why I didn't know what you had back there.
Oh, I don't know. It's just I think it's a white lady and her black friend just saying is her life worth more than mine.
I like it. So how we feeling? This is episode 15, I believe.
I believe you are correct.
I think it's 15. I was going to put 15 out because I had another episode in the tuck. The one that we did, the first episode of last week or whatever, that, you know what I mean? We ended up re-recording last week's episode.
Yeah.
Due to some technical difficulties. But yeah, I was gonna drop that. I actually edited it, but just never released it. So maybe we'll start like a little unreleased joint, like a vault type joint, start dropping some random episodes.
I like that. I like the vault.
The Lost Pods.
The Lost Pods. I like it. That's the name of it. We just got it. We're gonna patent that too. Try to get some bread from. We're gonna sell shirts. The Lost Pods. So how y'all doing? Go ahead, Crackk.
Who wants to go first? I mean, I feel fine. I'm sitting outside of Fogo de Chao right now, and I just ate a whole lot of food.
Okay, that's a nice restaurant.
That's right. Fogo's the shit too.
It's definitely a nice
I
restaurant.
I think I'm the only one that didn't like that place.
Well, Ike, you don't really like food.
I didn't like that place.
Yeah, don't you like
Ike ordered chicken tenders. Talking about he ain't like the place.
Pizza, no cheese.
Nah, I didn't like the meat that they brought me.
Ike ordered the kids chicken tenders. and said he ain't like the place.
I like that restaurant. I've gone there a couple times, but the last time I went, a roach ran across the table, so then I haven't been so happy about it
What?
since then.
Well, what location was this?
Well, I've gone to King of Prussia and the one in Philly. And
I want to know which one the roach was in. Let's talk.
In Philly.
Okay.
And Philly roaches is hard.
Just so I'm saying our listeners might be hyped to come to the chow. Our listeners could be
right across our table.
He said, "This is my table now. All right, kid."
The one thing I ain't like when I went there is like they gave me my sides like cold.
Well, what
like,
did you order?
It wasn't like, I'm not even sure. Like
you don't really order all like that.
Yeah, you don't order. That's another weird thing is like you don't really order. Like you just kind of go in there, sit down, and then they just start bringing different meats and stuff to you.
Oh, it's a Brazilian steakhouse?
Yeah, the one you went to for my birthday, Cora, that one.
Did I go?
Yes. You did. It was several birthdays ago. You made it. I don't know.
Oh,
you were in rough shape when you got there, but you made it.
Were we down the city? Were we at the one in the city?
Yes.
Oh, I wasn't.
I'll be honest. I don't really remember that.
Yeah, showed up. Say you was in rough shape when you got there.
Listen, I was chilling. I was chilling. I was definitely chilling, but I was probably high or something because I really don't remember that. To be honest with you, I mean, I'm being honest. You know, it's the past.
Yeah.
You paid for us to eat, so it was nice.
Did
I? Yeah, for my birthday.
See. Just when y'all thought I was on some crackhead shit, I paid for the fucking meal.
I didn't mean it like that. I meant rough shape. You were late and all that.
I thought I was on some crackhead shit the way it sounded. Oh, no. I was like, damn, I don't even remember that shit. So I know I wasn't in.
All right, well, let's keep some composure here. Let's get back into feelings check.
What?
I know.
Where are we at? Feelings check. All right, who went next? I was talking about the restaurant.
I just broke my fucking bomb. I'm pissed off.
I got my bomb out.
Pissed off. Can pissed off be a feeling? That's a feeling, right? It's a good feeling.
Absolutely, brethren.
I don't know. I'm a little out of it today, but I just broke my fucking bomb, and that just didn't help. Because I was getting through the day just fine until the bomb broke. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Bullshit at work and all that, I could deal with that. But my bomb, you don't break a nigga's bomb. Like, man, anytime you break it, if you a real weed smoker, all my real weed smokers know when you break a bomb, it's like a piece of your heart. Just, you can't get that back.
Like when I let that blunt burn by accident down the fucking smithereens the other night. Broke my heart.
That's different though. That's the way.
It wasn't different, Core, because I thought it was out. I went back to light it up, and it was all.
Hold on, Kel. Was it your last piece of weed?
It wasn't. It wasn't.
Okay.
Actually, you know what?
The last piece of weed, I'm pissed off.
It technically it was because what I had left was like only like a pinner.
Yeah, that was your. Yeah, you was down to your last.
Yeah, you know. I was hurt. I really was hurt. That's what I'm saying.
That's now listen.
Like it broke my heart.
And then the fact that you thought you put it out, so you want to go back to it, not
and
there.
You know, that happened to
Reggie.
me. It wasn't a Reggie. I'm telling you.
Reggie.
Hold up, Kel. I ain't never known Kel to smoke Reggie since like 2001, maybe.
Yeah, that's the last time. I can't because it don't do nothing. It tastes weird, first of all.
Reggie's the worst.
I'd
rather not smoke. Like, I'm not smoking it. I will not smoke Reggie. Like, I'm not smoking.
Yeah, never.
What about Deuce?
Now, some good middies or something, that's a different ballgame. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Middies, I could play with some middies if it's pretty good. But
yeah. What about the Deuce, Core, now?
Not anymore, but I will say that I will say the Deuce was some good memories on the Deuce.
Better than Reggie?
I never had, put it this, oh, hell yeah. I wouldn't smoke Reggie, but I'll smoke. If I found a stick of Deuce right now, I'd blow it right here on the podcast. All day. Like, I had good experiences on Deuce. I'm not one of them guys that, like, fell out in the halfway house and was looking crazy. I would smoke the shit and be chilling.
That's good to know.
I'm just saying. I don't promote Deuce smoke. But if you is on state parole, you might want to find you a nice Deuce strain and stay out the way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, you don't. What you want to do is just get your medical marijuana card and leave the chemicals alone.
There you go. That's another solution. See, we didn't have this when I was getting in trouble. All this new shit, this technology shit. You know what I'm saying? When I was getting in trouble, you had to go down, see the man on the corner, get you a little deuce, get you some Scooby snacks.
Look, I'm talking about
Nick. Back. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking deuce mode.
You gonna get you some deuce or some Scooby snacks and fall back.
Every time you hit the deuce, I didn't think we were gonna make it home that night. I
didn't think we was gonna make it home too that night, but we got there, safe and sound.
Corey had
deuce. That was that night, Kel.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and I kept asking y'all to stop passing to him because he was driving.
That motherfucker was hit a telephone pole or something.
Yeah, every time he hit the deuce and we were going another direction, I said, oh my God.
Good old deuce.
I was drunk when we left, but you know how that is when you're in the car and all this crazy shit's happening. I was sober now on the way in. So
sober, yeah, I had to sober you up. I had to sober you up.
I appreciate that, Cor. And thanks for getting us home safe.
You looked a little out of it, so I had to bring you back. You know what I mean? Make sure you're still breathing.
What did Drake say? White wine, weed, smoke, that's my best combination. It's usually not straight out the bottle. I was raised better than that, but that's what it is tonight.
I feel you. Yo, they had a good special. I will say this. Since I broke my bond, and I'll wrap up my feelings check, but they had monsters. Because I'm tired of shit, right? So I'm like, I'm going to go get a monster. They had monsters, buy two, get one free. And they were on sale. Check this out. Buy two, get one free. Plus they were like 25% or 25 cents off.
Oh, wow.
They're usually like $3.
I never knew that would be on sale.
They were like $2.60. And then if you bought two of them, you get the third. Because I bought two and he was like, yo, go get you a third. I was like, it made my day. I was like, you know what I mean? Oh.
And then
I come back. See how life balances itself out? I come home and break my bottom.
But you got a free monster.
And they sold me fucking pinners. Like I was rolling turbs up when I got home. Like, what are you doing? I said, yo, y'all got any swishers? He goes and gets me fucking the minis. So I leave, come back in the store like, yo, you gave me the minis. He was like, it's all we got, bro. I was like, fuck, you're killing me.
What was they, India?
Nah, it's a white boy. He's from, the white boy at the corner store that I always go to is from York, Pennsylvania. How fucking crazy. How crazy is it? That's my man, too. I still don't know his name, but he's from York, Pennsylvania.
That's where my Uncle Jody's from.
I said John a few times. He was like, John? He was like, you from Philly? Shit was crazy. Blew my mind. He was upstate and all that.
From York, you know what John is.
He was upstate and all that, though. Nah, he was up top and shit. He said he did like a 2 to 4 for some bullshit. I said, me too, nigga.
Oh my God, what did he look like?
He's a white boy, a little skinny white dude with glasses, kind of like nerdy looking. He kind of looks nerdy, but he's cool, though. Oh, you trying to holler at him? I sent him at you, Kel. I got you. Matter of fact, I got you.
No,
I got you. Your Instagram, your Twitter, your Snapchat. I'm going to get married there.
Yeah, you're right. Does he own the store? Because I remember this
man. No, the nigga got fired and just came back. They hired his ass back.
I'm like my grandma. The guy.
You know the type of niggas that get fired from a job and come back to the same job? There's a certain type of person that does that. I'm telling you. I've seen it happen a dozen times. Yeah. It's always a certain person.
I think if I got fired, I wouldn't want to go back. I would feel like that was awkward. And then who would hire you back after you got fired?
For my job, they fire people and hire.
Revolving door of employees. Oh, come on! I got my lighter though.
Listen, man, we in the pandemic right now. Shit, work is scarce for some people. You know what I mean?
I agree.
That's why I'm working like a slave that try and get off the plantation.
We've been on the plantation. It's been like 600 years now. We still on it.
I'm trying to get off it though. Trying.
Well, we gonna get off of it.
Crackk trying to get off it. You gotta work. You gotta work your way off it. Mm-hmm. In this day and age, isn't it called capitalism?
Why look like you cut your eyebrows?
Free cuts in your eyebrows.
I didn't touch I just got thin, nice, beautiful eyebrows, my friend.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I don't touch my eyebrows. My barber doesn't touch my eyebrows. I'm a beautiful motherfucker. I didn't know if you knew that. You live with me for years. I don't know how you haven't figured this out yet.
I don't know. I don't know.
Your little brother's a star.
I don't know, Core.
What you mean you don't know? What type of hating ass shit is that?
That's your brother.
I know Arizona can make your eyebrows done.
Ain't that one of the topics this week?
What?
8.
I'm just messing with you, and I said I don't know because I was just teasing you. I said Ike might have one up on you.
I don't know. Let's hope this monster kicks in soon.
Yeah, just don't drink all 3 of them.
I might have to. Shit. I gotta stay up and make sure this podcast gets released in the morning.
Damn.
My life sucks.
No, it doesn't.
It is what you make it.
This is what I get for fucking with y'all.
Oh, it's our fault now.
It's somebody's fault, and I'm blaming it on the rain.
Not yours. Couldn't be yours.
Nah, but I'm gonna take accountability for it, and I'm gonna make sure everything is right, at least as right as it can be.
Can you edit out the parts where I'm taking big sips of this?
Absolutely not. Fuck, I look like.
I mean, just
I had me up all night talking about trying to splice little shit back and forth.
Well, my feelings are mangled. Oh, I got.
That's how you feeling, Kel? A little mangled today?
Yeah, my uncle died. And I usually, obviously we're all familiar with death, maybe a little too familiar. So, and they all hit different. This one, it knocked the wind out of me. It's my mom's brother. And, I lived with my grandmom a lot, off and on when I was a kid. So I lived with my uncle. I know him very well. He was quiet. He had his issues back in the day. He took a bad hit of mescaline. It fucked him up for the rest of his life, pretty much. But he was still, on his own, doing his thing. He lived a good life considering. But, I'm just, I guess, you think about the memories and stuff. That's just where I'm at. I'm in the first phase of the grieving process, so I'm hurting. And then my Uncle Don Cobbage passed away just, a couple of days before that. So it's a little, it's a lot.
I feel you.
I had moments, I had a breakdown in the bathroom today, so I had to text my human resources manager and tell them where I was, so they didn't think I left. I'm in the bathroom crying, I'll be out in a couple of minutes.
Dang.
So let it out. That's the best thing I could say.
Get it out.
I think just getting it out. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And you did the right thing. You did the right thing. Text her, just let her know, look, I'm in the bathroom, I'm cool, but I'm going.
Yeah, I didn't route.
And you know what? The dog ain't there because we moved to a new location, so we gotta get everything fixed up.
You didn't tell me that. Is he not allowed to come to the new place?
He is, but since we just moved, we're just getting stuff organized, and he gets into everything.
Okay. You see my face? I'm like, what do you mean he can't be there?
Yeah,
I like
my
it.
right hand ain't even there though. So I'm like, that really got me fucked up because hearts be known when I'm hurt. So we be just chilling. And even the dog ain't there. I said, well, damn. Anyway, ultimately, I'm good. I am good though. I'm just going through something right now, and it happens. But I can still laugh, crack jokes, and I'm here. I'm still here.
That's right. You're gonna be Kelly. You're gonna be here till you ain't.
Exactly.
That's all you can do. Just live it.
Yeah.
Do what you want while you're here.
Too, Kel. So you got friends and family. So
yeah, lots of that.
Hello.
It's just this one is just, it's something. It hit me how RJ's did, because it was just that was us. And I felt, my grandparents are gone, RJ, now my Uncle David. So it's just damn, But I got y'all, and I'm really good. It's just what the fuck kind of thing.
I get it.
No,
something else to deal with.
Who else? Everybody check in? Ike, how you feeling?
I'm feeling, I'm feeling I don't know, with everything going on in the world, it's kind of hard to like feel any type of way.
Right.
I had a good morning though. I went out with Crackk and like, you know, gave out food to the less fortunate. So that was, I mean, it was cool. It was something different. So, but other than that, yeah, just trying to basically get through like this whole inauguration and shit. That's what it is, right? The inauguration next week.
Inauguration, yeah.
Yeah, so basically just hopefully like America don't start a civil war before that.
Yeah. Monica, how you feeling? And then we're going to get into our guest. We got a special guest coming in, but I want Monica to check in before we let him in.
I'm maintaining. I'm doing all right. I'm taking one day at a time. Like everybody's saying, we all got a lot going on and just grateful for another day.
That's right.
Corey, don't be talking shit if I'm up here fixing my makeup either.
I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. Well, listen, Crackk invited a special guest, Chris Brickhouse. He's from Phoenixville. A lot of people, if you're from Phoenixville, you know who he is. If not, you're going to get to know him right now and what he does and how he gives back to the community in various ways. So with no further ado, we got Chris joining us.
All right. Hello.
Chris, how you doing?
How's it going, everybody?
Good, brother. How you feeling?
All right.
Good. Good to see you all.
Good to see you too.
Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us. Appreciate that. Big time.
Well, I mean, the first thing we are getting into, and we felt like it would fit right in with you, would be, are you obligated to help others, or are you technically just responsible for yourself? And we know we all have an idea of what you do from looking at your Facebook, from knowing you from Phoenixville, you know, and things like that. But I think we're curious, as well as a lot of others, as far as exactly what you do, exactly what you got going on, you know, even how people can help out and things like that.
And also too, like what inspired you to even get started with this type of stuff as well?
Yeah, that was my major thing. I was like, I always like this, you know, when I look at people that I feel like are successful or that I feel like are, you know, pushing culture forward or doing anything in a positive manner, you know, to help other people. And, you know, there's a lot of different things, but I always like to know the motivation behind it. You know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of us, you know, whether it's, you know, I'm not saying it's trauma or something like that you give back, but I understand that, you know, a lot of people go through things, you know what I mean? A lot of times our bad stuff helps us, you know, push forward and do some positive things later on. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that's part of it. Like, I'm not telling you to get into your background or anything like that, but just, you know, give us a quick rundown of like, what made you start giving back the way you give back and doing some of the things and the activities and the activism and the things that you do.
All right. Well, I'll start with Joe's question first. So I don't think that individuals necessarily have to help other people, but we as a community should all be working together to help each other. And what I mean by that is I don't think it's on any one person, because a lot of people have kids, they don't have money to give, they don't have time to give. I think in that instance, the very least you can give is your voice, and be a voice for people that don't have a voice, be a voice for people that don't have any power. So at the very least, be involved in your community by speaking up for people that don't have what you have, and for people that don't appreciate the same level of privilege that you have. And secondarily, I do think that the community is much better when people come together, because I'm what I would call a socialist and anti-fascist. So my version of socialism is more along the lines of the social democracy ideals, where we all basically help support each other a little better and don't spend as much on the military. We spent $800 million or $800 billion in this country every year on the military, and the military spending just keeps going up. We're funding projects that don't even get used. We're funding just everything, but then people don't want to fund welfare and educational programs and all these programs that people need to succeed in a capitalist society in which everyone has to work to earn money. So you want everyone to work, but you don't want to help them get the jobs that they're supposed to work to support this society. Right. And you don't want to help train people. It's basically, if anyone's ever heard of Ayn Rand, she's a far-right philosopher that started a lot of the mentality in this country where everyone has to pick themselves up by their bootstraps and all this really dumb horse shit that we've integrated into our society over the past 100 years or so. Because in the days of FDR and Henry Wallace, who should have been the next president after FDR, if he wouldn't have been shoehorned out, then we would probably have an entirely different system where we pay more or pay the same amount into our taxes, but get more out of it. We get nothing out of the taxes we pay right now. Right. We get very little. Very little goes towards welfare. Very little goes towards anything. The bulk of it, 60% roughly, goes towards the military, which, I mean, we don't need bases in every single country in the world. So that kind of, all this ties together with homelessness, because homelessness is a combination of all of these problems. It's income inequality, it's drug addiction, it's mental illness, it's all these things combined. So I got into this basically. I grew up being poor. I came from a very poor family. My dad taught himself everything he knew. He brought himself basically from nothing. So he technically did pull himself up by his bootstraps, proving it's possible. But why should it have to be that hard? And so we were very poor. We grew up in trailers in South Dakota, in Florida, in little trailer parks, and government cheese and welfare, and just pretty much did what we did to have to survive. And I respect my parents for doing that, because they had 3 kids, and times weren't always tough, but we survived. I mean, here I am. So there's something to be said that that experience did make me a stronger person, but at the same time, I don't feel like people should have to have such hard lives to be able to survive in this country. We need to help people out a little more, to give them a little bit of a leg up. So that being said, like, growing up poor, and when I was younger, I remember somebody, a family friend, basically, we took a trip down to Philly and handed out blankets to the homeless people around Christmas, and that really left an impact on me. I was just like, wow, these people literally have nothing. They're sleeping in concrete. It's really cold out, and they have no food. I'm like, why? Nobody wants to live like that. And I'm always having this conversation, this argument with people. Like, nobody voluntarily wants to sleep out in the cold. It's not a fun way to live. But like we talked about before, there are many aspects that drive people to these situations. It's lack of safety net. It's not having anyone to help them, and a lack of resources, lack of education. So basically, due to the lack of education, the first thing I got involved with was teaching classes. So I hit up Jimmy Dioria, who is a Schuylkill cop, and he's a really good guy. And this is an example of working with the system for change. And he runs the Police Athletic League. They do boxing, they do golf, they do all that stuff. I asked him if I could do, under their umbrella, do a free programming class. So I've been doing that for 3 years with mixed success, overall pretty good success. But it's just giving people skills to be able to succeed. And being a programmer, you can make a really good living. You'll have a job for life, because the future is programming. The future is automation. The future is basically the internet. So having these skills to be able to give to people, I would feel bad if I wasn't teaching people to program, coming from where I come from. So from there, it kind of evolved. I've been getting involved in a lot of social justice stuff as well, and been hitting a lot of rallies and protests. And then I made a post, like I had it up to here with just talking all the time on the internet, complaining all the time on the internet about how bad this country is without doing anything. So my thought was, what can I do to directly impact some of the things that make me angry? One of those was, the top of the list was homelessness, because just because of the other experiences I've had in my life. And people, when you're homeless, you cannot get any lower. You're down and out, and society really does not care about you anymore. The only people that have it about as bad are people that are in jail, but at least people in jail have food given to them. So
yeah, I think I would take jail over homelessness without, being stuck in the street with nothing. I'd rather go to prison. Personally.
Absolutely. It's warm.
I've been in both situations, and I would take jail any day of the week over just, being stuck outside with no food, no money. It's cold, winter, maybe a drug addiction, whatever. Like, people don't choose. And like you said, people definitely don't choose this. That's one of the biggest, I don't want to say myths, but it's one of the biggest things you'll hear people say. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, their choices got them. Yeah, but no one chose that end game. You know what I'm saying? No one. No. Like, that's just not realistic, like, to even think that. But
some people choose to stay outside. That's a different story. Usually it's because they had a really bad experience at a shelter or something like that. Or one of the really sad things that we run into a lot is people that have animals that they have outside, and a lot of shelters won't allow animals. So that's one of the first things I learned when I started doing this.
That's interesting.
So to continue, I made a post about starting my own group, and somebody hooked me up with You Are Worth It Foundation, who's run by Adina Rowan. A lot of you may know her, or her family from Phoenixville. They're a long-time Phoenixville family. So I started doing outreach with them in Philly. We would go split into two different groups, one to Center City and one to Kensington, and just take massive amounts of stuff down and just hand them out to everyone we find. And Philly's crazy. It's insane. Like, just the area around City Hall where we normally hand stuff out, there's probably 200 or 300 people living in Suburban Station, living around City Hall, living in the tunnels at the Civic Center or the Convention Center, and then right near there, Franklin, the Ben Franklin Parkway. There's another bunch of people living there. There's people on Market Street. There's people in Kensington. Kensington is a literal nightmare to be in for many reasons. It's like a different scene because it's pretty much all heroin addiction, unfortunately.
Yeah,
and
Kensington.
More hopeless. So essentially, I started working with them, and that has evolved into me starting my own thing because they now have a food bank. So they have a fixed location, and I kind of wanted to still focus on the aspect of going into the woods and finding people, because that's one of the things I started doing with Yahweh was going into the woods, finding people, finding encampments, establishing connections with people, and giving them the tools that they need to survive, at least through the immediate future. So if they need communication, we provide cell phones. We have burner phones that we have for people. We have solar chargers to keep phones charged so they can stay in communication with family. We do survival gear, tents, and sleeping bags. And one thing that we try to do more in winter is get people into temporary housing or shelters or hotels. Whatever we can do, we do a fundraiser, and we try to put people up for as long as we can for as cheap as we can. And as of right now, we have someone in an Airbnb, and we have someone in a hotel that we're keeping there because they're not having a very good time right now. So giving people a little bit of support when they don't have family, it really helps them focus on getting their life back together. We have the one gentleman is going for an interview tomorrow. So as long as you have a little bit of hope, then you can continue to go on. If you don't have hope, you don't have anything. So if you don't have a support system, you don't have hope. So we're trying to build a support system for people that don't have it. And as of right now, due to us not being a 501(c) yet, we don't have the reach that we'd like, but we're currently working on that. I'm doing a fundraiser right now to raise money to get our nonprofit status. At that point, we can get grants from the government. We can get larger donations. And then from there, the plan is to start our own shelter of some kind. And we're also looking into the tiny home villages I'm sure you guys have heard about. They're talking about doing it in Philly, and actually we kind of take our cues from people in cities, because people in cities deal with problems way worse than what we're dealing with out here. Stephanie Sina is a Villanova professor, and she's been working on the tiny home idea for the people that were in the encampment in Philly. If you guys heard about that.
Yeah.
The encampment, as well as just people. There are probably 3,000 to 4,000 homeless people in Philly that are documented, I think. So
excuse me, Chris. Not to interrupt you, but just so people know, this fundraiser, how could they contribute? Where do they find information to contribute?
For the 513C?
Yeah.
Actually, you can Venmo Chris-Brickhouse-1. That's our Venmo, or PayPal cbrickhouse@gmail.com. I'm actually running a comic auction, so we should be able to raise enough from that to cover the cost from this, but any money that gets donated to us will go to helping one of our numerous projects. And pretty much every time someone else doesn't need help anymore, we have 2 or 3 more people. So it's kind of never ending. So thanks for asking that.
No
and I mean, our donors, we're a grassroots organization, so we raise money and then we just dump all the money back into the work. We have a couple of volunteers. My wife assists with pretty much everything, and we have a couple of volunteers and other people that are going to be able to help a little more when COVID's over. COVID has really thrown a monkey wrench into our operations, especially Philly outreach, because the spiking is just so crazy. We can't even risk going down there. I have an autoimmune disease, so I can't really risk being around 300 people without masks, unfortunately. So our plan is to get back to that once this starts to die down, or once we're able to get vaccinated, or whatever the next step is.
Okay.
Absolutely. Quick question, not to get you off topic. Is that all vinyl I see behind you?
It's comic books.
Oh, it's books. Okay. I thought it was vinyl at first. I was like, yo, he got a lot of vinyl.
Yeah.
Vinyl's actually downstairs. This shelf is actually is made for vinyl and comics. So it's IKEA drawn.
Okay.
Yeah, all the vinyl's downstairs. I have like 300 records down there. So
oh yeah, you got a nice collection. Absolutely.
I'm really into music too. That's another aspect of my life. I built a music website called pahardcore.com, stereokiller.com. That's how I started getting into the do-it-yourself mentality. I mean, my dad taught me that from a young age, but built my own music website. It's basically a music website where you can sign up for free, give away your music for free, or you can sell it with no fees. So that's another platform I built. And I also built the platform for Project Santa, which is a group in Phoenixville that does Christmas gifts, as well as You Are Worth It did their Christmas toy drive through with the software I made. People basically just add items to like a shopping cart, and then they have a list. Here's all the items I picked for this kid and that kid. And then they go on Amazon, they click the link and go on Amazon, buy the item, and then it's pretty awesome. because a lot of these kids are from shelters. They don't have any sort of resources to get gifts. Some of the gifts are pretty sad. Honestly, they're like just a pair of socks and a shirt and like a new pair of shoes. And that's all the stuff that some of these kids will get all year. They're from various shelters around the area. So one other thing I wanted to mention was how awesome this town is actually, since it's a Phoenixville-based podcast. Phoenixville really covers its people really well. We have the clinic in town. We have Code Blue, which is a shelter for when it gets too cold so people can stay there overnight. We have PAX, which supplies food to anybody that needs it. We have Orion, which helps out with some of the same stuff we do, but different things as well. And St. Anne's Heart is the new education center in town, and I think people will be able to rent the spaces to have classes of their own. So if somebody wanted to do like a hidden history class or social justice class of various kinds, or even like a civics class, because apparently this country didn't teach anybody civics that well because nobody seems to know what they're talking about half the time when it comes to politics.
Yeah, that's very true. That is super. They didn't really teach us civics that well in school. They did a little bit. They hit on it, but they didn't really drive it home, like if you ask me, because we don't know how the government works at all. We have no idea how it works. Most people have no idea how the government works.
And there's different layers too. I mean, there's 3 layers of the government. Everything's different. There's the local level, there's the state level, and the federal level. So we're basically expected to follow three different sets of laws at all times, which sometimes conflict with each other, like the marijuana laws. And that actually feeds into something else I wanted to talk about, was the fact that we need to end the drug war, because the drug war and mental illness are probably 2 of the biggest reasons why people end up homeless or in bad situations, because the war on drugs has absolutely decimated inner cities. There's no doubt about that. And there's definitely racial aspects to it, because all the white people fled the cities, and now they're coming back to gentrify the people out of them, which is fucking insane to me. And it's at the point now where nobody wants to admit that systemic injustice exists in this world, when all you have to do is a little bit of research to figure out that it's absolutely true. It's women make 90 cents. White women make 90 cents for every dollar a man makes. Black men make 88 cents. Black women make 88 cents or 87 cents compared to white men. That right there to me proves that this country is pretty fucked up. And the poverty rate is 10%. That's 1 out of every 10 people in this country that are below the poverty line. That's insane to me as well. Over the years, we're taxing the rich less. Unions have all but disappeared. Unions used to be how workers were protected. Mm-hmm. And all these things combined, since Ronald Reagan is regarded as one of the best presidents that the country's ever seen. He's literally the worst president.
He's the worst. He probably was. He was probably the worst president.
He started it all. Nixon started the lowering the taxes on the rich, but Reagan really ramped it up. In the 50s and 60s, we saw massive prosperity in this country because we were spending money on infrastructure, and we were spending money on roads and streets and buildings and all this shit. And then we stopped taxing the rich, and then all of the tax burden started falling on the middle and lower classes. So we're getting taxed at higher rates than these assholes. I mean,
now when you say we stopped taxing the rich, are you speaking of like corporations and corporate law?
The effective tax rate went from 70% in 1981 to around the same rate that we pay, I think around 35% or something like that. The effective tax rate on money has gone down. So and not only that, but CEOs are making more money as well. And it's partly due to that, because CEOs went from making roughly 30 times more than what their people made to 500 times more. That if anybody can't see the correlations between what happened in the 80s and now, that was when the beginning of the destruction started. That's when everything started. It was with Reagan.
Yes.
And the tougher laws as well.
Would you say the prison industrial complex was a part of that agenda as well?
Absolutely. I mean, it's pretty well documented as well. Anybody can read this. That's when incarceration rates really started to rise. And it also is coupled with the war on drugs because they started locking people up for a plant that grows naturally, which is also insane to me. And even now, there's still inequality even now in the legalization of weed, because now we've moved in these corporations that are basically selling this fancy packaged weed to people, and all the people that used to sell weed and end up in jail for it are still have records. They still have their felonies, and now they're being pushed out of their money.
And Chris, they're not even allowed to sell weed.
Exactly.
Because of their criminal records. You know what I'm saying? Which is like the weirdest part ever. It's like these dudes like were trying to make a living doing it. Now you're allowed to do it as long as you don't have any felonies or anything like that. And like a lot of these guys can't because they were charged with crimes and this, that, and the third. So it's crazy.
It's legal money to dump into it.
Exactly.
to start a dispensary.
It costs so much to get into the dispensary business right now. It's ridiculous. Me and my girlfriend were looking into it, and it's just ridiculous. We just don't got it.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
about to mortgage the house and get a dispensary. You know? Be up in this joint tripping.
So everything comes back around, though. I mean, it's everything comes back to, in this country, comes back to racism, and it comes back to white supremacy. And what we saw this week at the Capitol was a bunch of spoiled fucking white supremacists. They can't take the fact that their dipshit lost. And after 4 years of them telling us to get over it, you lost. I'm like, are you fucking serious right now? I'm like, you're going to storm the Capitol because your fucking moron told you that he won? We're living in two literally alternate dimensions. Their dimension is feeding them this load of horse shit. In our dimension, there are leanings on both sides. There are media biases. Everyone knows that. But their side is pretty much totally allowed to do and say whatever the fuck they want, and people believe that shit. Like Alex Jones, for example, was outed as a total fraud. Like in a court case, he basically said that his whole thing was an act and a persona, and people still believe him.
He was like making stuff up, like conspiracy theories and all types of stuff, just pulling them out, like creating them himself.
It's literally exhausting.
Dude's a weirdo.
But
people still follow him though. Like he's still like I think he did an episode of Rogan. I mean, it's one of the highest episodes. You know what I mean? Like he just did it like a month or two ago. It's got like 30 million views or something. It's crazy. Like it's got a lot of views. Like people still love to. It's like I guess the internet made it cool to like, you know what I mean? It attracts goofy shit. Like the class clown now has like the class clown has a whole world to entertain for now. It's crazy. Like it's kind of ridiculous.
If you've ever watched him, he is entertaining, but you have to also remember that he's totally full of shit. So I mean, he is a funny guy, but his people, he knows that he's deceiving them. He knows he's selling them snake oil, and he's still, to me, that's the most corrupt of a person. The person that knows that they're really fucking with everyone's head, like Trump. Trump knows exactly what the fuck he's doing. While he is also an idiot, he knows enough. His thing is he's a narcissist. So it's all about the attention that he's getting from all this. He doesn't react well to not getting his way, which I think is a side effect of being spoiled, rich, jackass his entire life. So this is why we are where we are. And hopefully no one else dies in the next week because they're planning all sorts of shit.
What hopes do you have for this new regime that's about to fall in, Biden and Harris? Do you think that I don't know, like, are you hopeful? Like what are your feelings on that?
And before you take that question, Chris, I would like to ask you, when you were talking about, like, mass incarceration over the years, do you think Biden had anything to do with that? Like, as far as like the 1994 crime bill,
Well, I think Biden did admit.
Absolutely did.
He admitted, I think he apologized for it, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but
that crime bill absolutely destroyed the Black community. Between that and the Reagan drug war, so we have a lot. We have a lot of our current situation to thank for with Biden. I think the shitty thing is that it was the lesser of two evils, and I hate to use that because I hate that statement, but because the Democratic side is clearly not as evil as the Republican side at this point, because they are just straight up fascist at this point. I think what we're going to get out of Biden is, I think we're going to get what we got out of Obama. More of the status quo. We're going to get small, slow, incremental changes. The best I'm hoping for out of Biden is to reverse some of the shit that Trump did, mainly including the environmental stuff, because that we're at an environmental crossroads right now. Pretty much every scientist agrees that we are in a really bad spot. That's a whole nother conversation that we won't get into.
You say you said environmentally?
Environmentally, yeah, because Trump basically opened up the entire country for drilling and fracking, and national parks for drilling and fracking, which is absolutely fucking absurd. And I'm sure anyone that knows me knows that I wanted Bernie. To me, Bernie was the number one candidate and has been for the past few elections. He has been standing up for people since day one. He has never deviated from his story, and it's unfortunately because nothing changes. He's been talking about income inequality, wage gaps, the rich. Him and Robert Reich, who it was worked with Bill Clinton, they've been talking about these things for years, and they really influence the way that I think. And the more research I do, the more it turns out to be true, because the statistics back up what they say as far as wage gaps and wealth inequality. Like, one striking fact is the fact that Black families only have an average of $17,000 of generational wealth, and white families have over 100,000. If that doesn't tell you the history of this country and how far we still have to go, I don't know what else does besides the wage gap numbers. And that includes the women making less money, especially Black women make less money than anybody. So
Chris, with that real quick, because for a long time, I always thought reparations, I just thought it was like a long shot. So long shot, like I didn't think it was even possible, nor did I really feel like probably at some point that Black people deserved it for some reason. And mind you, I'm half Black myself. I just I wasn't informed enough. I didn't know enough about the system, about history, about a lot of things. But with those numbers you just shouted out, I think reparations in some form or fashion, I'm not saying hand everybody a check. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is there should be some sort of opportunity that's maybe directed towards the Blacker and browner communities to try to help that and try to increase those wages and increase, like you said, generational wealth, owning a home, just being able to leave like your kids a home or something like that, how important that is for the next generation. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's huge. Like, it's so important. Ike, you remember when mom and dad sold the crib on Grover Street? It's almost like they pull that safety net from you. Now, if you're even as an adult, if you have to, you're falling hard times and maybe have to come back home, you don't have that home base no more. And again, you talk about homelessness and stuff like that. This could, it could start a spiral that sends you in the street to where now you're homeless. You know what I mean? All due to you didn't have that safety net. And I think you spoke about safety net earlier too. But yeah, definitely. It's crazy. I just think reparations in some form or fashion of like maybe an opportunity. You know what I mean? I don't know what that is. Maybe free trade schools or something or whatever. I don't know, to try to start building some type of wealth in Black and brown communities. And I think they need a boost. It's just, slavery and all that stuff. We know the history. Like, Black people need a boost. Like, they weren't allowed to earn. They weren't allowed to go to school. We weren't allowed to read and write for a long time. Like, that affects everything. And it definitely affects our economy. I mean, you know, the black and brown economies. I mean, just look at the inner cities.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was always designed to like keep us down, because even I guess it was after slavery, then they had the vagrancy laws. So we were just kind of like roaming the streets, and they found a way to keep us down again.
Sharecropping.
There's a PBS special about Reconstruction after the Civil War that really fills in a lot of your like history blanks, and it really, you'll see that that's where we really fucked up as a country, because initially the Black community started having representation in Congress, in their state legislatures. They really were starting to gain power, but they didn't stick. The federal government didn't stick with it. They allowed the opposition to bully them. The South, opposition was the South, because the South didn't want shit. They hated the fact that they had their slaves taken from them. Bottom line is, Black people built this country. Black people, Asian people, white people also as well. But clearly, Black people deserve money for the work they did. You got robbed. And the only way to ever move forward as a country with race relations is reparations. That's my stance.
And like I said, in one way or another, Chris, I'm not saying cut everybody a check for $100,000. I don't know what the number would be, but you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that I don't even think that should be the answer. It should be something, though. They got to be something.
People didn't even get what they were promised, because they never even finished Lincoln's promise, because they made sure that when they shot him. So pretty much anyone that speaks up against the status quo in this country gets shot. I mean, Fred Hampton and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. The 60s were like a nightmare for...
The 60s were so crazy. They literally just killed everybody that didn't fall in line. Kennedy, both the Kennedys. They killed both of them. It was crazy how they were just laying Martin Luther King, like you said, all of them, Fred Hampton, they were just laying them down. Like if you didn't fall in line and you were too powerful of a voice, and you know what? And this, I'm not trying to go conspiracy theory on you, Chris, but in our lifetime, I thought Big and Pac were similar, with a new regime, with a new genre of music called hip hop. And these two were at the height. They were the two probably biggest stars in the world of any genre at some point in the mid 90s. And I think, and mind you, nobody, they never caught anybody for the murders. No. It's just crazy. To me, I was like, damn, did they have them hit too? Because they were two strong Black brothers that had positive messages. That, you know, Pac was real revolutionary. So he was definitely challenging, you know what I'm saying?
He was challenging the status quo for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. They just laid shit down, especially in the 60s, though. Like, they were just airing shit out.
Anyone that will upset the establishment will end up assassinated in this country. Either assassinated, or now, instead of assassinated, they just make sure you don't gain the power that you need to gain to be able to do what you need to do. That's what happened to Bernie Sanders. The DNC straight up railroaded him. Not only Bernie Sanders, but all those other candidates, including Harris. I mean, we had 18 people, young, vibrant people, and we ended up with the guy that did the 90s crime bill. So, I mean, I think it all came that I heard over and over and over again, electability. I'm like, honestly, people hate Trump so much, I feel like they would have elected at least 4 or 5 of those people, including Bernie, including Harris, and probably even Mayor Pete's goofy little ass. And I don't know, they would have elected at least 4. I mean, we had women, we had people of color, we had Andrew Yang. I mean, it was an interesting bunch of people, and instead we got him. So
we got old ass Biden. Why are these presidents 70-something years old? Like, why can't we get like a 50-year-old guy who's in his prime?
That's the establishment. That's what America wants.
I know, but it's just,
at the end of the day, like how Chris said, how like we have to take, well, I don't know, you didn't say we have to take, but you mentioned how like Joe Biden is basically the lesser of 2 evils.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, in this country, why do we have to take the lesser of 2 evils?
We need more parties.
Why do we have to settle for that? Like, I mean, Joe Biden, you know, isn't going to come in here and make a difference. Like, he's known for locking people up, like people of minority. And this is supposed to be our lesser of two evils.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I just, in this country where it's like we're supposed to be free, and it's like, I just don't understand.
Biden picked the DA. So you're going into saying, you know, he's known for locking motherfuckers up, and he picked the DA as his vice president. She's the district attorney of what, San Francisco or something, Oakland or something.
And she has a shady background as far as like, you know, her history as far as
I've heard it's shady, but I honestly I don't know enough about her to say that's right or wrong. I don't really know what she's about too much.
She locked a lot of people up.
Yeah, I've heard that numerous times.
You gotta read about it.
So like, what would it take in this country where we don't have to settle for like the less of two evils? Like, because like, from my opinion, I feel like Democrats and Republicans are the same. So like, how can we get a third party where somebody who actually, like, you know, I voted Libertarian. So like, how hard would it be in America for us to like kind of brainwash ourselves and to be able to like,
we need strong.
Honestly, well, I don't even remember who I voted for at this point. I know I voted Libertarian. It was a woman, I believe.
Right? You told me. I remember when you voted for. You said her name.
Joanne Jurgensen. Joanne Jurgensen was. Yeah,
Joanne Jurgensen.
But my whole point is, like, in this country, you're either Democrat or Republican, and we've proved, like, it's been like we've seen from the past that, you know, neither one of them is really going to bring this country to like where we would like want to be ultimately, where we're all equal, you know.
Yeah, it's the same like cat and mouse game, it seems like.
Like, what would it take eventually for us to be able to get a third party that could actually, you know?
The main roadblock for all of this is money in politics. Them allowing our senators to accept money is the starting problem, because these corporations basically just dump money at our senators and congressmen through lobbying, and then they do whatever they want. So we're essentially being controlled by corporations and not even the Republican or Democrat Party. It's the corporate overlords that are the ones making the decisions. That's why almost every decision they make is friendly towards corporations. And Citizens United and several other things that have happened have basically handcuffed our system into a two-party system because of the corruption. It's like baked in corruption. It's legal. I mean, if you can buy off your senators, then why would anyone want to change that system? They're making money. Everyone's making money. So while I think that
when you say
the first step has to be getting politics, money and politics separated.
Chris, when you say buy off your senators, you mean when they go for re-election?
It's not only that, but they
are the ones that are donating the money for their campaigns,
lobbying.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's election funds, and it's super PACs, and it's other ways of getting money to the senators. I mean, Mitch McConnell is a multimillionaire, and he only has a salary of a couple $100,000 a year. So you do the math. Where is all that fucking money coming from? And he is more of a problem than Trump is. I'll say it right now. He's more of a problem than Trump is. He is the lead stoppage of everything, because basically he has a stack of bills on his desk. There's actually a picture, you can Google it, the stack of bills on Mitch McConnell's desk, higher than you can, like 4 feet worth of bills that have been passed up from the House since the Dems took over, and they just don't even look at them because of a law now that they don't even have to vote on the bills that they're passing up. What's the point of having two branches of Congress if you don't even have to have a vote? I mean, what is the point? So something needs to happen. I'm not totally sure what it is other than a total revolt. I mean, we saw how that went with these assholes. We have to start encouraging third parties, like Ike said. We need to start pushing for third parties. The third parties need more charismatic and more energetic people, because Joe Jorgensen is not cutting it, and neither was the Green Party's candidate from the last election. Most of the third party candidates they don't have enough money. They don't have enough influence. And that's the problem. The money that is spent on elections in America is staggering. It's billions of dollars. We're spending all this money on elections. To me, the elections should be more like they are in Europe. They have 5 or 6 parties, and then they vote in a new government. Half the time, they throw the entire old government out and then build an entire new government. That's how advanced some of these other countries are. In America, with American exceptionalism, we have all had it beaten into our head that we are the best country. And while we are the best country in a lot of ways, like I think we make the best music, I think we are more innovative in a lot of ways. But a lot of these innovations come from everyone being basically forced to work their entire life with capitalism. And some of these other countries, they have universal health care. The UK has had universal health care since 1948. We talk shit on them because they have a queen. Their queen is a figurehead. She does nothing. Their government is more effective than ours, even though they also have an idiot. So all these other countries are doing better than us, but we're somehow convinced that we're still better. New Zealand, for example, has a woman prime minister. They've managed to keep COVID to almost next to nothing, and their poverty rate is lower than America. We lead in incarceration. We lead in all the bad things.
All the bad things.
All the bad things. We are the best at the bad things, and we are not even in the top 10 of the happiest countries in the world. I think that number 1 is Canada. So we also talk a lot of shit on Canada, but they also have universal health care, and they don't have people getting shot by cops all the time, and they don't have as many people in poverty. I mean, we just need to shake this whole thing that we're the best.
It's like I feel it's like we're brainwashed and they just believe it. So we live in America, we're the best. We've never even been anywhere else. How many Americans have been somewhere else? Like we're just brainwashed into believing like we turn on the TV and we're the best country ever, but we have more people incarcerated than like, you know, half of the incarceration population comes from the United States. I mean, I believe 1 out of every 4 prisoners in the world is in the United States.
I think we have
people.
How are we the best country in the world when half of our men are in jail?
Exactly.
Black men are in jail. So how is this?
I had this conversation a few times. I think me and Monica, we had a nice conversation about this one time. And how I was saying how universal health care is in this, like everyone should have the right to live. And that's what universal health care is. Because if you don't get stuff taken care of sooner or later, you know, it could be too late and you could die. We could prevent a lot of deaths. We could prevent a lot of people dying from cancer and things like this if we could get them in to see doctors regularly. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't, I haven't been to the doctor. Like I tore my arm. I tore my bicep earlier this year. I still haven't went to the ER or anything for it, like, because I don't have health insurance. You know what I'm saying?
And you don't like doctors, because even when you had health insurance,
I really don't.
To the doctor.
But at the same time, Monica, if there's a reason why I don't like them too, because I think I just don't trust them. Like,
so what do you think about universal health care would make you trust doctors?
I just think that it should be a right for everyone. Like, if you want to go, I'm not speaking about me in particular. I'm just saying anyone. Like, I can go to jail and get health care, but I can't have it out here when I'm trying to do good. I'm paying taxes and I'm doing, like, what are you talking? Like he was saying, none of our taxes come back to us in any way, shape, or form. They don't. Really. Like, every time I look at my check, I get upset. I get really upset when I look at my check and see how much money they're just taking from me. And I don't get no say in it, no nothing. You're just taking my money and doing whatever with it. It's never going back to where it should go. Like I was saying in the last week's episode, take that $600 you're going to send me and send it down to Kensington and try to clean this up a little bit. There's got to be ways to clean up these cities, man. To me, it's frustrating. Like that's the thing I get. I get super frustrated.
It's bad and it makes no sense.
And and I don't go around like blaming people for it. I'm just saying, let's clean this shit up. Like, right. Let's just clean it up. Let's fix it now.
Yeah.
Like somehow, some way.
And I know you guys earlier mentioned, I guess, I don't even know how to pronounce the word right. What is
gentrification?
As far as giving like minorities money.
Reparations.
Yeah, reparations. I personally disagree with that. Like, I don't think that's a way to, like, pay, like, people back from the past. I believe the only way we can do it is just, treat people equally and fairly, like, moving from here on out. I believe, like, I don't believe it's fair. I don't believe it's fair for, like, the white people, for all the blacks to get sent checks, just because it's rough to be, like, black in America. Like, let's just wake up and have a better America. Like, I guess it's just wishful thinking, but
it's not too late to start. And China has 3 billion people. They have less people in jail, and they spend less on their military. So digest that a little bit. 3 billion people. Come on. We have 330 million people, and we spend the most 800 billion every year on the military, and we can't give people healthcare. It's absurd. And also, we live in a system that requires people to be college educated or have some kind of training in order to make any money. But then people have to take $100,000 of student loan debt.
Yeah.
By the time they're 21, 22 years old. So we need affordable education that, like I said, that's why I started doing my class, because this is a skill that people can take with them forever. And I want to encourage these types of things with other people. And I think my kind of what I wanted to leave everyone with really is, if you want to change the world, you can change the world. One person might not make that much of a difference by themselves, but if everyone gets involved and everybody volunteers, find something you're passionate about. If you're passionate about prisons, you could volunteer for the Innocence Project, helping them do whatever. If you're passionate about food insecurity, you can try to help people with doing homeless outreach or something like that, or working at a food bank. If you're, they're literally the nonprofit community in Phoenixville and in this entire area is just enormous. We have St. Peter's, which feeds people every single day in Phoenixville. It's right near the clinic. There's the clinic. There's all these places that really help people. They are the safety net, because without people able to get that much help from the government through our taxes, we have to provide the safety net. So even if you don't have the time, it's donating a couple bucks. If you do have the time, donate your time. Start your own group. If you have something you're passionate about, just get involved, because the only way this is ever going to change is by action, direct action. We can't rely on anyone to save us, because no one is coming to save us.
Absolutely.
These people only care about themselves. They care about keeping their jobs. They care about, there are some people in our Congress that do care for the people. I think AOC and the Squad and Bernie Sanders and a select few in the government actually do care about people, because they fight for them every single day.
Right.
But for the most part, we're on our own. So it's up to us to come together to help feed people, to help clean up our parks. I took part in the park cleaning project with a couple of you, I think. And,
yeah, I seen that. That was dope. I like that. That was
stuff that was like that.
Wasn't that St. John's Park? There was a tree that fell, and you guys you guys got it all together and chopped it up and moved it out, got it all out of there, cleaned it up good.
That's where I met Joe. And Kasim was the organizer of that, and Kasim is trying to do good things around Phoenixville, Kasim Field.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's trying to start his nonprofit and help the Black community in Phoenixville, which would be awesome. So there is hope for the future, but we need to move forward together as a community and just try to do everything we can. I know not everybody has the time, but if you have the time, if you have the energy, go out, volunteer, you'll meet people, you'll help people out, and you'll feel like you're a part of something. Because the main thing I think lacking in American life is, if you're not religious and you don't have a family, then you don't have community. There's no aspect of community in this country,
right,
other than churches and stuff like that, because this country is founded around religion. And I personally absolutely hate organized religion. I was raised in a very crazy religious household, basically. We didn't have a TV. My dad thought the end of the world was going to happen every 4 or 5 years. He was always talking about the tribulation and revelations. He was a street preacher. So through that experience, I do not like religion. I don't like what a lot of them have become, the Catholic religion in particular, because they are a huge cult. They molest kids, and they were never punished for molesting those kids. Mormons and also Scientology is terrible as well. So
Ooh, worst.
We protect these religions because we as Americans, we know that we don't have that much freedom. We don't have as much freedom as we like to think. We have the freedom to go to work and make money for our bosses, and that's about it. And you have the freedom to pick your fast food or your whatever you're eating that night, or your whatever beer. I mean, we have choices. The choices don't equate to freedom. Freedom involves being able to be paid a livable wage, being able to have a house and not have to worry about losing it, being able to feed your family. That is freedom. And in this country, we don't have that. Everyone's week to week. Everyone's paycheck to paycheck. And until we start to get a little more security by providing some sort of sense of community, then we have nothing.
Absolutely. I agree. 120%.
And with the organized religion, I am, of course, I believe in a higher power. I was raised, Christian and all of that, but I saw things happen in the church, and my grandparents especially, they raised money to like put padding on the pews in the church, or like a ramp for people with wheelchairs that have access to the church. And I saw certain pastors, like just kind of just focused on, having big fancy cars and rings and all that, and not really
stealing money,
paying attention to that stuff. And my grandma was so involved and cared so much. Her heart was absolutely in the right place, and I get it, but I recall us having, like not a fight, but just a disagreement, because I watched, a pastor, someone everyone's praising, take thousands of dollars from her, thousands upon thousands. And that's what kind of got me where I am now. Spiritual, I do believe in God, of course. I just, I'm on my own path, because that organized religion thing, it's just, I don't know. I feel like I always kind of felt like, even as a child in church, like something was just off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we're seeing
Kelly, I always thought it seemed staged.
Yeah, and we went
and
to church.
That was my whole thing with church and stuff. And I'm the same way. I'm very spiritual, and I have a connection with something. I don't know. I don't necessarily call it God, but I call it, I know what it is. And that relationship is awesome. Mm-hmm. But with the organization stuff, I feel the same way. It always felt bogus to me. It always felt like too much. Why do the preachers talk like that? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Especially in black churches, Kel. We grew up at Grimes A.M.E. We went to the same church. You know what I'm saying? Why do the pastors talk like that? I always was thrown off. It looked like a presentation, other than like it and I didn't like that. I never liked
speaking in tongues and stuff like that.
That too. That as well. That too.
That's just straight made up.
That too. I always thought that was crazy.
I respect everyone's religion, and I respect everyone's
as well. But, absolutely.
But at the same time, I don't appreciate it when they shove their shit down your throat, because I don't do that. I don't shove my anti-organized religious beliefs down people's throat. Right. However, I do have immense respect for the churches that actually do feed people and do offer services and stuff like that. That I respect. If you put your money where your mouth is, I respect that, because that's what I try to do. That's what started this all to begin with, because sick of talking, wanted to see some action, started putting my money where my mouth is.
Absolutely.
You're doing a great job. It's very inspirational.
You definitely are.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Chris, man, we are so happy to have you on the show. We appreciate you, but I can't let you go without giving us the best hip hop album of all time. This is because we run this is more of like a hip hop / it's anything. We don't.
It's everything.
There's really no genre to this. We always say that we're not a political podcast.
Chamber. I got
36 Chamber.
That's
a good one.
Because that was the hottest album that was around when I was a teenager.
Now, Chris,
it always just resonated with me.
Is there a relation between Wu-Tang and Phoenixville? Because I've lived in a lot of other little cities, especially around Philly and Pennsylvania, but I live in Phoenix now, and Wu-Tang's not so popular. I mean, this is definitely, that was 30 years ago almost, but it's just not, I don't know. Phoenixville loves Wu-Tang. Like every time,
Absolutely.
like everybody from Phoenixville
Diggers,
crazy.
Grave Diggers. Mike
shovel.
McGill got me into Grave Diggers.
Mike McGill, that's my man.
We were like
fan
16.
Of the show. He's a fan
I was
of the
like,
show.
man, I like this even more than some Wu-Tang stuff because it's creepy,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like death metal and heavy metal and stuff like that. So I'm like, this is almost like the rap version of death metal. You know what I mean?
I got
So
you.
I really appreciated that. But the latest stuff, I mean, RTJ4, easily the album of the year. I mean, Killer Mike and Killer Mike just really is probably one of the best rappers around right now. He says it like it is. And I still listen to a lot of Sean P.
What was the Run the Jewels album that came out early last year?
4.
Yeah.
4. It came out this year. So
yeah.
It's funny because they always put out their albums when really terrible shit's happening. Like they put out that album right when COVID started.
Yeah, when the pandemic hit.
The last one they put out right when Trump got elected, and they some of the songs on there really resonate. I mean, they talk about the same kind of shit I talk about. I feel like me and Killer Mike would probably have an awesome conversation. Health inequality, community, stuff like that. I mean, I will always listen to Run the Jewels.
Chris, I think if you keep doing what you're doing, you and Killer Mike will have that conversation, man, because you're doing tremendous things in the community. And I know I'm looking from afar, but I'm in awe sometimes when I see the things that you're doing. You know what I mean?
It's actually one of his shirts. Kill Your Masters.
All right.
Hey, check that song out. It's on 3. It's fantastic.
Definitely. Well, Chris, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thanks for having me.
Hopefully, if you have anything to promote, anything, you can definitely stop back. You know that. Anytime,
right.
You have anything to say. I appreciate you too, because you looked out and you posted something on your Stereo Killers for me. That was dope, man. I appreciate that. I might have some more music. I might have some more music for you to post soon too. I've been trying to get a lot of videos and stuff together, so we're working on some new stuff.
Also, before